Alright, so last year I made my nibling a little sun shirt, right? Little summer hoodie. And he wore it, and this year he's bigger because that's what happens with toddlers. And so we need a new one. These are a pair of pants I got at the Goodwill bins, and they're well constructed, so I feel kind of bad cutting them up, but also they're low-rise and skinny-legged and much too small for me, and we're at the Goodwill bins. So, cotton linen blend, lovely fabric, is going to become a teeny tiny hoodie as soon as I finish cutting it up and figure out what I did with the hoodie my sister sent me to use as a pattern. Here is the teeny tiny pattern. The pockets I have every intention of using unaltered, and the fabric. Annoyingly, the legs are just a little narrower than the back. So you know what? We're going to cut it back out of the legs, and then we're going to put skinny little pieces on the side, and everything else can be cut out like an actual piece. Yeah? Okay, but why are the butt pieces of the pants... The butt pieces of the pants are wider, so if I use the butt piece, and here's where the foot would have stuck out, and if I use the butt piece, then it's actually wide enough to just hack a sleeve off the end of both butt pieces. But not the front pieces. So, yay, hack a piece off the end of this leg. Yay. This is ridiculous. Look at me already lying. So, that would be the side seam, or thereabouts. And so there's that much extra on the front piece. And then some more for the button placket, assuming a button happens. So the seam will just be a little bit to the back. That seems okay, right? Pocket, pocket, front, back. Sleeves that are actually pant cuffs. Hood that looks weirdly enormous. Gonna have to double check that. And because tiny humans are so tiny, there's a lot left over to play with, which is awesome because I have ideas. That's going to be the fun part. But first I'm going to baste all of this together and then hold it up next to the piece I'm supposed to be working from so that I can check and make sure everything's okay. It occurs to me basting is not what I meant, because I'm not deliberately planning on putting in stitches that I'm going to need to take out. Hopefully it's going to be okay, right? So, because I do everything flat felled seam, I'm just going to do all the initial seams and check it before I come back and flat fell it. So, not making extra work for myself, just giving me a chance to fix my mistakes as they occur, as opposed to later. So just a moment of me being honest here. My winging it approach to patterns means that at the moment I'm like, oh, look at that. It was important to me to make the sleeves big enough, so now they're too big for the armhole. Gonna make the armhole a little bit bigger and then see if they match up. Lots of fun. Everything went together okay, and now we are in seam finishing land, so wrap it on up. This is the hood sticking out considerably farther than the button placket, because in my head I believe that if I fold over the edge of the hood a lot, then the edge of the hood will be stiff and not collapse into the tiny little face. We'll see. We'll find out. Makes sense, right? So, almost to that point. Am I making a button placket? No, I'm not making a button placket. I am folding over the edge of the front bit. Also, see this? This is the edge of the hood on one side. This is the edge of the hood on the other. How did I do that? Why is one of them cattywampus? I don't know. We'll have to see if it's noticeable in the final piece. We'll see. Alright, we're trying snaps for the first time ever, something I actually bought new and just recently remembered that I had, and I don't know, there's the crappy thin ones that snap into the back of the slightly thicker ones. And if I figure these out, I don't have to sew buttonholes. This is why I'm not doing a how-to. I just realized they can't both be on the back of the not button placket, can they? These have to be on the front so that, so that they actually fit together. We have a teeny tiny hoodie. We've got 2 partial legs, and I don't know what that was. I mean, it must have been a leg. They're pants. So I want spikes, like a ridge spike out of the little piece and a wing each out of the big pieces. Does that seem? Well, here's a potential wing piece, which is definitely plenty long enough. And I guess it'll just be as wide as it can be. This could be cool. If you're thinking I ought to start ironing things, I don't disagree with you. So there's 2 of these. I'm about to sew them together along the spiky bits. I think they'll look a lot bigger when they're on. I don't know. We'll see. And there's 2 wings that have to be fussily hemmed. I only let myself put 2 points on because that's going to be the least fun hemming part. As predicted, the wings are a bit of a pain in the butt. And it just occurred to me, most of the way through the second wing, that I probably should be whip stitching this. But you probably knew that already. Anyway, they'll be done soon. The other piece is exciting. Okay, so I got the little tufums, right? Sewed it together and then turned it inside out. See all the little excess fabric? So turned it inside out, sewed it together again, and I was going to sew a line right here to keep it together, but now I'm wondering if maybe if it's not sewed together at the base, it won't flop over as easy. We'll see. And we've got the back of our teeny tiny hoodie, which... Okay, so we could sew the wing all the way down the sleeve, or we could just attach it here and here. And honestly, since I'm on a time crunch, I think I'll probably do that. And then the wing gets to flappy even more. And this, tell you what, we'll do the bottom spike on the shirt body. And that way that bumps into it more easily. And then it just goes as far up the hood as it goes. It's kind of cool, right? I think.
Look at Charlie.
Look, it fits the Tiny Hoomin. He is not into performing at the moment. Those are the wings. Yay, wings. And spikes. Yes, take Cody off. That's fine. Sorry about that reveal. He is deep in his no era, okay? It looked adorable on him. Fits with plenty of room to grow. It's a great fabric. All will be well. It will be used. He wasn't feeling the video thing. For some reason, I really want to use this waistband. And these 2 tiny pieces of remaining fabric. So we're going to keep going with the thrift flip thing, huh? In the context of this, we're doing a flannel shirt dress again, but one for summer because she only has ones for winter. So this skirt that was a hand-me-down that she wore the crap out of, that I mended and added straps to, and now the elastic has just failed. This skirt that was a hand-me-down and got way too short. This flannel that was definitely secondhand that she hasn't been wearing. This flannel that was also secondhand that she hasn't been wearing. So we will be taking 4 pieces of clothing and the remainder of that piece of clothing and making 1 piece of clothing that can go on a coat hanger. And so that's pretty awesome. So that means that this is the core of the dress. All of that is getting patchworked together into a brand new fabric to be a giant, fluffy, tiered skirt. At least 2 tiers. And maybe some integration up here. Probably some integration up there, knowing me. So, this is going to be really cool. So most tiered patchwork skirts have a kind of horizontal blockiness to them, and I get that and I like that, but I don't want that here, in large part because I want the tiny amount of available fabric I have of this to repeat a lot instead of just 2 chunks of it, right? So I cut everybody into noodles, and then I started irrationally worrying I wouldn't have enough fabric, so I found some pale fabrics to loop in so I could have a kind of, well, let me show you. Maybe a kind of reddish, grayish, reddish, grayish repeating pattern, we'll see. But anyway, very, very long noodle of this currently that will cut into once I figure out how tall I want the tiers. No clue. Right now we're just making fabric, and honestly it's peeling, and there will be lots of repeats of this, so that's cool. And the mending gets to show up. That makes me happy. So I rummaged this out of the fabric stash because I needed more pale/gray, which means I found this, which is going to be a great little detail. I just need to decide if I'm cutting it into quarters or thirds. I think thirds would make for a good width. What do you think? Now this is arguably very silly, but I don't feel like this top will work with the skirt unless it is patchworked some as well. So cutting a slit out in the front and at least one in the back, and it will get a stripe of contrasting fabric that is visible and makes it look like everything belongs together, I hope. This could have been neater, but I'm okay with it. Yeah, there's one on the back. These are cuffed. I'm kind of bored with this project, even though I think it'll be really cool, so let's deal with this comically long noodle by cutting it in half and sew it back together. And you know, I think I made a mistake. I think she's going to be sitting on these thin fabrics instead of on these thicker ones. Is there enough of the thicker one to try and correct that, or are we just going to roll with it? I think we're just going to roll with it. Anyway, I'm going to cut this into thirds, which starts with folding it into thirds. And what? This is a lot of skirt. Good Lord. Anyway, theoretically, the reason it's cut into thirds is so one of them can be the top tier and 2 of them can be the bottom tier, and there will be lots of floof. Have I made a horrible mistake, or is this going to be fantastic? I have no idea. You know, I get that the waistband itself renders the buttons absurd and pointless, but I am really loving this moment of this dress with the making me happy. Hemming this felt like it took literally forever, but that's just the price you pay for a nice swooshy skirt. And you, my friend, probably have a sewing machine that you're comfortable using, so that'll make it easier. I don't, but it's perfectly doable anyway. There we go. Sewing machines are intimidating. Anyway, right now I'm just felling down where I sewed the top tier to the bottom tier with some more gathering pleating. And so the end is nigh, except for pockets. Crap, we need pockets. Also a confession. There we go. Here's the bottom of the button band. I just did this. I thought this was going to be a bigger difference and I'd need to extend it or join it somehow, but I don't think I do. All is well. So I finished it up, but then life started lifing with a vengeance, and I don't even know what I said last. Anyway, I took remaining scraps and made pockets, very intensely patchworked pockets, and I love them. And I have 2 confessions. Okay, so first off, shirt was just a smidge wider than, what do you call it, waistband, and so I just made a little tuck pleat at the center back. Should have done it too in the front, but this is how it worked out, and it works fine. And just a general confession, if things weren't square in these strips, I did not worry about it. And there is so much pleating and chaos in the skirt that does not cause a problem at all. So yeah, let's let you see the finished thing. All right, my sunshine. Sleepyhead. Show off pretty dress. The skirt is really fantastic. I kind of want one. Oh yes, full swoosh. Pockets, drawstring, twirly. Little patchy bits on the top. That's it. It's simple. Love y'all.